Hi, this is Amy Angus from SWAP, here to give you a very quick overview of the updated SWAP Prep for HE unit, which all students are required to complete by the end of the year in order to qualify for progression to university. Prep for HE is really the name of the game on any SWAP program. The whole point is to prepare students for higher education and, of course, to gain a qualification for entry. Students will study a range of SQA units as agreed between your college, SWAP, and the university partners, but they must also get to grips with the most essential skills and strategies for learning and succeeding in education. And that's what Prep for HE is all about. Last year, we introduced a new version of the unit, so the whole thing is now completely online and no more binders full of paper, which is good for the planet. The new Prep for HE can be accessed from any internet-connected device. You can find it by going to the SWAP website. So let's take a look at that. We're on the SWAP website now. The address is www.scottishwideraccess.org. On the land page, you will click on West in the upper right-hand corner. And then there you'll see a link for Prep for HE. You click on Prep for HE, and there's a little thumbnail image at the bottom with text that reads, click the image below to access Prep for HE. So to click that, that'll take you to the SWAP Moodle. Alternatively, you could simply type in the address of the SWAP Moodle, which is scottishwideraccess.org/Moodle. You'll see here that Prep for HE 2122 appears at the top, and that's the link that students should use this year. Also, please note that there's no login required to use the resource. All students use the SWAP Moodle through guest access. There are no passwords or enrollment keys required. Once we click into that section, you'll see the range of available modules listed down the central area of the page. We will release modules in small batches this year to avoid overwhelming students with everything all at once, as there are 22 modules. And we want to keep a light restraint on those who might otherwise gallop ahead and try to do everything all at once. We do want to emphasize that the flexibility that's built in means that you can either follow our sort of semi-chronological order here, or you can dip in and use whichever ones you think are best. So direct the students as you wish. If you think they should get to grips with something sooner rather than later, then feel free to have them do that sooner. Whatever you think best is fine with SWAP. The same goes for the pace of completion as we have it now. There's a new module for students to complete every week in the first 12 weeks of the academic year. After that, on return from Christmas break particularly, it's every 2 weeks. However, if you deem it useful or necessary to assign, say, 2 modules in a week or to skip a week here and there, that's up to you. The only requirement from SWAP and the university partners is that all students complete all modules by the end of the year. A Prep for HE has been developed in 2 sort of strands, if you like, designed to be interwoven, so they alternate through the year. The first strand is the kind of academic side of things, and that's stuff like how to do research for assignments, choose good sources, read them effectively, take good notes, plan and write reports and essays, and referencing and all that sort of thing. Now, students are often naturally anxious about those things at first because they've been out of education for a number of years. So getting practical help with how to do that kind of thing is of course essential, but the other strand is equally important, and that's the strand devoted to personal and social development, the cultivation of skills in things like timekeeping and prioritization of work, but also the ability to just maintain a sense of well-being through all the ups and downs of being a student again. Now, based on feedback that we got from you guys at the end of last year, we have structured the Prep for HE modules in 2 halves. We actually have more modules than we did last year, but they're really just split in 2. So some of the larger modules will be divided into 2 smaller ones. So the first half of the year, prior to the Christmas break, will focus on introducing topics in a kind of light and breezy way, whereas the second half of the year, we will seek to enhance and improve in those areas, asking students to dig a little bit deeper in order to be prepared for the next level of study. It's a tall order, but feedback from students and class tutors over the past year indicates that the Prep for HE unit can be a powerful tool to help students get ready and actually feel ready for the challenge. Proof of completion will come in the form of a reflective exercise, which is also done online, which students are asked to do at the end of each module. So let me show you one of those. So we'll go into the Prepare to be Successful Resilience module, for example. Click on Enter. Now you'll know this loads up because I've loaded it before, but it's worth noting that when students first attempt to load up a new module, it will take a while. So ask them to be patient. Also make sure that they have pop-ups allowed on their browser because it opens in a new window. So this is the module, and there's a little introductory text and a list of what will be covered. And then they click on Start Course, and they can just begin working their way through the materials. The vast majority of it's just reading. We ask them to have a notebook dedicated to prep for HE, have a notebook and a pen, and jot down ideas and thoughts that come to mind and things they'd like to maybe ask questions about or talk to other people about. And then as class tutor, if you could try to promote and facilitate group discussions on some of the themes that we're covering in Prep for HE, that would be great, just to consolidate what they are learning and exchange ideas and develop their awareness and their skills further in those areas. So group discussions after Prep for HE modules have been completed, are highly recommended. We hope that you will make some time every week. It doesn't need to be long, maybe half an hour, and let students just have wee chats about that. Okay, so as they're working their way through it, they're reading, they're taking notes, they might have some activities to do, or they might have a video to watch or a podcast to listen to, something like that. We've incorporated quite a lot of student voice from previous students from years gone by talking about their own experience. And as you're progressing through these sections and completing them, you'll see the completion on the left-hand side shows you where you are with the whole unit or module. And you just keep working your way through it until you get to the end. So there'll be activities to do as well, and they can stop and come back to it. So if they want to, they could pause, go away, do activities or do whatever, and then when they come back, if they get interrupted, they could come back later on and finish up. All right, so this is a typical module. And at the end, once they get through the material, they will come to the look back and look ahead activity. This is where proof of completion comes in. So this is how the student can prove they've done this module, they've thought about it by doing the reflection. So they'll see the look back and look ahead and a button for ready to reflect. When they go into that, that takes them to an online form with some prompts for basic information about themselves. Their program will ask for your name as class tutor so that we can group you, and then we give them an option of format. So at the bottom, they can choose the default, which is to respond in writing to set prompts that we offer. 99% of people do that because it's easier and more straightforward. But some people have their own blogs, or they prefer to do things like handwritten journals and things like that. So if they want to just scan or take pictures of things, or if they want to record themselves and upload the file, then that's fine too. We don't really mind what the format is like as long as they're engaging with it. So we'll take a look at a typical set of prompts. In this particular exercise, there are 5 prompts, but it varies from module to module. And we just ask that they read the prompt and then write a response or provide a response. When they're finished, they will click on the All Done button and then Next, and that will take them to the end where they can input their email address. It's worth noting that whatever they type in here is where the copy of their responses will be sent automatically. So it needs to be correct, and it needs to be the email address that they're used to using. Sometimes they will just by habit use a personal email address, and then they look in their student email account for it and they can't find it. So if they say they can't find it, have them look there and in their spam and trash folders, and then if they still can't find it, tell them to get in touch with SWAP and we'll give them a copy. We do see all of the entries that come through, and we do read them and look through them, and we will keep an eye on progress through the year. The proof of completion is, as we said earlier, a requirement of progression. So at the end of the year, SWAT will ask you as the class tutor to confirm that you've seen evidence of completion of Prep for HE for each student. Now they can forward an email to you, but if you've got 24 students and 22 modules, that's a lot of emails. So you might prefer instead to set them up, if you're using Teams or something similar, You can set up an area with student folders, and they can keep them all in there, or they can just keep them on their own system and then share them with you on request whenever you are, you've got time set aside to talk to them. Then you might want to look through what they're writing. I have to say it's very useful as a class tutor to see what people are writing about, how they're feeling. Sometimes in that format, they'll say more than they might say in class. Or even if it's one-to-one, face-to-face, they might write more than they'll say aloud. So it's really worthwhile having a read through, particularly prior to a guidance meeting. So at the end of the year, SWAP's going to ask you to confirm that you've seen evidence of completion of Prep for HE for each student. You do that through the student profile. We'll email you at key points during the year with a summary spreadsheet of your class's current progress on prep, so you can give a nudge to anyone who may be falling behind. We will do final checks at the end of the year, and only those who have completed Prep for HE will be eligible to progress to university. So it would be good if you could let your students know that right at the start of the year and remind them periodically throughout to avoid any last-minute panics when we get to June. So that's it. That is the Prep for HE 21-22 as it stands. We want to thank all of you who gave us feedback last year and offered suggestions for improvement. We hope this version is an improvement over last year, but please let us know if you have any ideas for material we should include or topics we could cover in future versions. Bye for now.